on the other side. Is that okay? You need to be circumspect about what to do and what not to do. Good. Then we proceed on our discussion whether these objectives we are meeting them. Ignatius, you are interested in recording. Just pay attention. Everything you have them already. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Right. At the end of this, you should be able to ask yourself, how did the internet come to be? Various broadband internet connections we have in place. If you are meeting them, you should be able to also describe the purpose of the address that can aid you connecting to the internet, IP address systems. You should be able to describe features of browsers and identify the components of the web address. So if you paid attention to all the contributions that were coming, are we meeting some of the objectives? The ball is in your court. You should be able to tell. Okay? Were there some benefits and risks? You mentioned them. Using online social networks. Okay? Definitely there are some advantages, and of course, there are some what? Disadvantages. You mentioned them. Okay? You explain how the web usage graphics, you can use all these to communicate among yourself. Somebody will not even say a word, but some common gestures, they can communicate to somebody else. Isn't it the case? We can also use email lists, and other internet messaging chat rooms to also communicate among ourselves. Now, most people don't really do normal telephone calls, but rather they are engaged in voice over IP. For example, WhatsApp calls, Facebook calls. Are you following? These
Yes,
are
sir.
some of the,
Yes, sir.
these are some of
Yes,
the
Yes.
sir.
benefits.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Last but not the least, once you find yourself in the cyberspace, you have to make sure there are some rules that you should be abide by. Okay? You identify the rules of netiquette. There are some etiquettes you need to be aware of. And as the golden rule says, you don't do what you don't want others to do unto you. Is that not the case?
Yes, sir.
Good. So we attempt to explain what the internet is, and we are saying it's a worldwide collection of networks that can connect millions of businesses, government and its agencies, educational institutions like GCTU, and individuals like yourselves. Okay, that's the internet, worldwide collection of networks. So you can get different networks connecting among themselves, and the aim is to do what? Communicate among itself, disseminate information. Are you making some sense here? So people around the world use the internet in daily activities, such as accessing information, exchanging messages, conversing with others from their computers and mobile what? Devices. And internet, somebody will ask, when did this begin? And as we are told, so many years ago, in September 1969, a group of researchers came together and they decided to work on a project where they could communicate among themselves. Hence, they decided to set up ARPANET where they could communicate. And their sole objectives were two. One, irrespective of their geographical location, they should be able to communicate or send information across. Okay, and the other one was that even if some part of that network is disabled, communication should still go on. These were two major goals that they set for themselves. And sometime 19 1984, you could see they were small, but 1984, their network had increased from a certain number to about 1,000 networks, of which several other networks were also connected. Then, around the year 2000, we had what we call now internet. So it has transitioned from ARPANET to internet now, where billions of networks were communicating among themselves. Okay, so 1969 we had ARPANET. ARPANET transitioned from that number to about 1,000 individual computers linked on a particular host. Then in the year 2000 up to now, we have billions of hosts connect to the internet. Okay, so this is the transition from 1969 up to date, and the list continues. Now, then we ask ourselves, how can we communicate among ourselves? Yes, we are saying we can communicate among ourselves by connecting to the internet, either wired or wireless. So if you're connecting through wired, means a computer or device physically attaches through a cable or wire to a communication device. Computers without communication device can use a wireless modem or other communication device that enable wireless connectivity. So this is a classical example for your viewing. Okay, you have your modem, internet assumed in the space, and your desktop device and your laptop is also there. You see different types of modems in your shot. Good. Now, we have on the wired connectivity. Either you need to have your cable network service, DSL, digital subscriber line, and we also have in place now fiber to the premises, FTTP. If you want to connect through wireless means what we call Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity. You can also do that through mobile broadband, fixed wireless, or satellite internet service providers. All right. You can create a mobile hotspot using a communication device or by feeding your smartphone. So maybe wherever you find yourself at your workplaces, if you have a hotspot there, you can communicate through that. Okay. In order to achieve all that, there should be someone who can provide you with SP for short. It's a business that provides individuals and organizations access to the internet, either free or for a fee. And this bandwidth normally is measured in the capability of what? A megabyte or gigabyte. Okay, are you making some sense here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, for you to be able to communicate among your devices, every device should be identified with an IP address, Internet Protocol address. It's a sequence of numbers. That uniquely, so the underline here is a unique identifier. Okay? If you identify that particular node, the location of each computer or device connected to the internet or any other network, without an IP address, it is difficult to connect to the internet. That is also established. Without an IP, you're unable to communicate among devices to the internet. Are you making some sense?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
we also have what we call domain name. It's a text-based name that corresponds to the IP address of a server. Okay, what it means here is that maybe you'll be on your browser and you want to look for maybe this university, or that you know the university's website address is site.gctu.edu.gh. When you key that one in your browser, it converts to the IP address behind the scenes and goes into the server and fetch you the information that you are looking for. The page will pop up. with a twinkle of an eye. Okay, that's the domain name. .gct.edu.gh. Whereas the DNS server translates the domain name into associated IP address. That's what I just explained to you. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
The SI is weak.
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is an example of the IP address. We have two types of this IP address. We have IP version 4 address and IP version 6 address. If you could check well, you will see the IP version 4 comes in the form of what? Octet 2 raised to the power 8, 74.125.22.137. When we say octet, it means 2 raised to the power 8. That will give you what? 256, isn't it? If your math is good, you have forgotten about your sets and indices. 2 raised to the power 8, 25, what? 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, am I preaching better? I'm listening. If you are telling me something. I thought somebody was cross-checking.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please, it's 256.
But that's exactly what I said. 2 raised to the power will give you 256.
25. Yes, sir.
Yes. And in the configuration of that IP address, you don't use the first one and the last one. So you end up using 254. That's what the protocol said. You know, it's a protocol. Protocol means lay down rules. They reserve the first address and the second one, the last one, for research purposes. Is that okay? So in between the first and the last, you can use which you have about 254 hosts. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, these same researchers, to a certain point, also thought that population are increasing. Users on the network are also getting choked. Therefore, there will be a time that the IP address will get short. Therefore, there was a need for them to come up with what we call IP version 6. And as you can see on your screen, 2001:4862:4860::8844. That's how it is, that sequence number. This one is 2 raised to the power 16 in hexadecimal form. You get that?
Okay.
Though we are still using the IP version 4. And if you check, you could see new machines that they are manufacturing. They come in the form of IP version 4 and 6 as well. Because thinking if you are not using the 4, you can use the 6. So they are making provision for both of them. Which one suits your need, you can use them. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
The
sir.
IP version 4 and address along with other domain name for. What you see is the Google domain name. When you type of Google, this is the address they use. And they have so many of them though, depending on, because now they have their servers scattered all over. Every country that you go to, they have their server sitting there. You can have Google GH, Google wherever, Google UK, wherever. Okay. All right. So there are also top level domain names that you can also come across, and it's intended purposes. So I don't want to boil down too much readings. At your own leisure time, you can continue the discussion, and I want us to end the discussion here. If you have any question, you can ask in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you have any question, you can ask.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
This is Ignatius. My question is with the type of internet connections. Can we consider infrared as a type of internet connection?
Who can help? Okay, Ignatius.
Yes, sir.
Infrared is not internet connection because it doesn't provide any IP.
Oh, okay.
You just need a signal.
Okay.
Yes, infrared to infrared, finish.
Okay. Okay, sir.
But
Thank
there's
you.
also a communication device. That one, you should accept that.
Okay.
It's not.